AI can parse data more quickly and accurately. So we can use that in any industry because of the power AI brings in processing data, which is really critical. You are the global supply chain, you're the global head of supply chain technology. And when we talk about supply chain, the one thing which stands out is the demand forecasting. And demand forecasting is very, very important for retailers because they want to make sure that the supply chain doesn't get interrupted. And traditional demand forecasting was always time series. Trying to understand what the buying patterns are, and over time, what kind of trend or seasons impact, so you can understand. But what really interesting happened during COVID was COVID really hampered a lot of our predictions. It kind of put us in a loop to understand what we really need to, or how we need to really create the demand or understand the demand. So I feel like, do you feel that artificial intelligence can be employed to build sophisticated algorithm to accurately predict, especially the volatile customer demands, and help retailer to optimize in buying or distribution or even prices? What is the right price or price predictions or promotions, and how have you seen AI being used, especially in demand forecasting?
Right. I wouldn't say accurately forecast, but AI can certainly improve the accuracy in the forecasting. So like company like ours, a global company, the demand forecasting is extremely complex because we have large number of products, SKUs, we call it. And now you have to forecast them, the volume of each of the product across 25 brands and across 6 regions, and with so many affiliates, by the market, by the country, and sometimes even to the door level. That becomes a very, very complicated math. And so and we try our best today, and there are some areas where we actually use some of the AI models, both the statistical as well as AI models, to take all the consumer insights data, that's more of a forward-looking consumer insights, as well as the past, the sales data, etc. Take all of that into account and convert that into some kind of a forecast model and feed that. And it's the forecast that drives the rest of the supply chain, right? Because it's the forecast that drives manufacturing, that drives our suppliers, that drives the transportation and the sales and everything else. So it's extremely important that we get the forecast right, although it can never be 100% right. I think it's probably impossible to get forecast 100% right. But we with AI, I think we improve significantly, and it reduces the risk as much as possible with using AI models. And you mentioned something else during the conversation, that is consumer demand. Like, because of the pandemic and post-pandemic, now the demand is a lot more volatile. Consumer needs and preferences are shifting much more rapidly. That means we as a company need to be very agile and resilient to reacting to these demands, or being able to adjust our manufacturing or distribution, transportation, all these different things to meet consumer demand. So it's very important. So to me, another area is the digital twins is an area where AI would play a huge role. That is, if we can actually model our supply chain process as a digital twin, then we could see where the processes can be improved or broken. And then if there is a disruption, for example, when the Suez Canal got blocked, just as an example, then, okay, if such an interruption happens, what happens to our rest of the supply chain? So we can model those kinds of things, model what if scenarios, and then build plan B, plan C kind of, plans have those plans in place to be able to, still meet the consumer demand and not impact our operations significantly. I think that's where the huge opportunity is